fires and flames. This ain't The Wire, but it's all in the game. You know I always...
What's up, guys? I'm Landon from Shoeware, and today we're going all the way back to 2015 to check out Curry's first signature shoe with Under Armour, releasing in retro fashion for the first time. So if this is your first time checking us out, feel free to drop a follow or subscribe wherever you're watching and give this video a like. We would greatly appreciate that. So checking out the box and the price, these are going to get a pretty basic black box with Curry's old SC branding on top, which is just like really weird to look at now since, you know, now he has his own brand and he's been operating under a new logo that he's been using for the past few years. But as for pricing, these are going to retail for $130, which isn't a bad starting point. It was years back that these were originally released. It's like been nearly a decade, so I don't actually recall what the non-retro version of this one model was or like what it released for, but for these it's not a bad price at all. So checking out the appearance for these, first I do want to break down the colorway for just a minute because it is pretty deep and I actually love it a lot. So this is the Dark Matter Curry 1, and just a little bit background info on how this colorway came to be is that dark matter is believed to make up 80% of the universe and is comprised of materials that cannot be directly seen or observed by scientists, and they kind of relate this to Steph's game, meaning that a lot of what he does is just deeper than basketball that kind of helps him perform at an all-time great pace, such as, you know, his determined belief in himself, support from his family behind the scenes, and then the countless hours of work that he puts in the gym and the weight room whenever no one else is watching. And I know you didn't come here for like a lecture on dark matter or like a bibliography on Curry's life, but I thought it was pretty cool, and you know, he is my favorite player. But as for the model itself, these definitely have like, you know, a look of a shoe that would have been released 10 years ago. In my opinion, it's not going to be like the flashiest setup. I don't personally love how high this shoe kind of runs up your ankle, but way back then he had been having ankle problems kind of dating back to his early years in the NBA, so it does make sense why they built this model up higher just compared to what you see him play in now. But you are going to get some SC branding in a few different places, such as the tongue. It's also going to be shown near the toe area and then shows up faintly on the heel, kind of around the back side of these shoes. I do like the upper design. I think it has a really cool look and a nice feel to them. But now let's go ahead and leave this section alone and check out how these shoes hold up on it. So now looking at the materials, these have an anafoam upper that is padded on the inside, which helps a little bit with the comfort too. And you can see multiple holes that kind of cover the entire shoe, which makes this really great for allowing your foot to breathe. So I did like that. And you're going to get that same theme kind of running up the tongue. And that's just going to make this a really great shoe just for ventilation. I wouldn't say the materials feel cheap, but at the same time, there isn't going to be anything premium like that as far as suede, leather, you know, anything along those lines. But the support is a spot on this shoe that does a really good job. I mean, you have sort of a heel counter on the back of the shoe that's going to help keep your foot secure within the model. And then the upper didn't really struggle on any types of movements that I was making, so that definitely checked out for me. And aside from this being a high top design, you know, to maybe assist your ankle a little bit better, there isn't like any additional pieces like a strap, outrigger, just anything like that along the midsole kind of being built up to lock your foot in. But even without that, this model does a really good job still. And this is going to be a relatively light model to play in, weighing only 420 grams for a size 10.5. So that's not going to be the lightest model, but it's definitely on the lighter side to play in, which is nice. So getting into more of the materials and the performance side, and starting off with the cushioning, as displayed on the midsole, these have Under Armour's charged cushioning setup, and I am going to be doing a review soon on the Curry 1 versus a Curry 9 kind of comparison to talk about some of the changes that his line has kind of gone through over the years, just kind of analyze how far his line has come more or less, because the cushioning on these, it just doesn't really stack up all that well compared to the UA Flow foam that Under Armour is using right now. The responsiveness on this model is going to be really nice, but I wouldn't say it's going to be extremely soft to play in. I haven't played in them a ton yet though, so I mean, I guess I will see how they respond to being broken in a little bit more. But on that same note, these didn't hurt my feet or anything like that. Some models are really stiff, and I wouldn't say that these are in that category, but they aren't going to blow you away with the cushioning either. To finish off with traction, that's an area that really excels on this Curry 1 model from what I've noticed. Under Armour definitely got it right with that herringbone pattern that's just all over the bottom of this shoe, running horizontally in some places, vertically in others, and they perform really well. Like, they definitely have a sticky court on the field, and they have you covered for starting, stopping, jabs, just whatever it is. These bite the floor really well. I was really surprised by that. And then on the last few models for Curry's line, like the 8 and the 9s, they've been really good for traction too, so I mean, it kind of stuck with that theme. And personally, I think traction is probably going to be the selling point on this model. But to finish off with sizing, the length is about right on these, maybe a little bit of leftover room in your toes, but you know, not enough to where I'd maybe go a half size down, because these shoes are going to run a little bit on the narrow side. But overall, this was a sweet blast from the past to go back and check out this Curry 1 model. I was actually never able to play in them initially, but you know, as far as this retro edition, they play really well. My only concern, or maybe like my wish, would be maybe a slightly softer feel, but everywhere else this shoe plays great in my opinion. So if you're interested in buying these shoes and you want to support our channel, just click the link on screen or check out the link below or in our bio. But that wraps up this review. Until next time, I'm Landon from Shoeware. Peace.